Now, news from the United States of America. As the voices against Israel's war on Gaza in U.S. campuses escalate, leading to massive clampdown on protesters, President Biden walks the tightrope while defending right to speech but also denouncing anti-Semitism. Students in several U.S. schools, too, have rallied, demanding institutions should stop doing business with companies that support war. Here is a report.
Hundreds of helmeted police muscled their way into a central plaza of the University of California at Los Angeles and dismantled pro-Palestinian protest camps. The pre-dawn police crackdown at UCLA marked the latest flashpoint for mounting tensions on U.S. college campuses over Israel's bombardment of Gaza. Footages showed protesters were arrested with their hands tied behind their backs.
I think it's completely illegitimate that in the so-called land of the free, students come out and they protest against their crimes, the crimes of their government, and they get repressed, you know. And I think it in a place like UCLA, where they tell you this is a place to have a free exchange of ideas and to, you know, learn about the world, yet when you stand up for Gaza, this is what happens. Like, you know, this is a somewhat Nazification of the universities.
Though there were loud explosions during the clashes, the police claimed that there were no injuries.
We had just pushback, physical resistance. Nothing major, no officers injured at this time.
Any protesters injured?
Not that I know of, no injuries on both sides.
It looks like these explosive fire sticks, I think, that are designed to strike fear. It doesn't seem like they're hitting anybody, but they're extraordinarily loud and extraordinarily bright, and they were using that to basically push all of the supporters for the encampment to a different part of campus. So I don't know why they needed to do that. But I noticed that they arrested quite a few students while they're doing it. They seem pretty liberal with their 4-foot batons and their big shields, but...
U.S. President Joe Biden emphasized on the right to speech and rule of law in campuses.
The first is the right to free speech and for people to peacefully assemble and make their voices heard. The second is the rule of law. Both must be upheld. We are not an authoritarian nation where we silence people or squash dissent. The American people are heard. In fact, peaceful protest is in the best tradition of how Americans respond to consequential issues. But, neither are we a lawless country. We are a civil society, and order must prevail.
But he also stated that there is no place for anti-Semitism in any campus or in the U.S.
There should be no place on any campus, no place in America for anti-Semitism or threats of violence against Jewish students. There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, or discrimination against Arab Americans or Palestinian Americans. It's simply wrong. There's no place for racism in America. It's all wrong. It's un-American. I understand people have strong feelings and deep convictions. In America, we respect the right and protect the right for them to express that. But it doesn't mean anything goes. It needs to be done without violence, without destruction, without hate, and within the law.
As violent police crackdowns and counter-protests greet spreading demonstrations across U.S. campuses, Biden faces sharp criticism of his Israel policy from both the left and right. Students at dozens of schools have rallied or camped out in recent days to oppose Israel's war in Gaza, demanding institutions stop doing business with companies that support the war.